Welcome to today's vlog. It's April 30th, the last day of the month. It's day 27 of my vlog. Been a tough week to get all the vlogs in, and I've missed some and I may miss another. Been a lot going on. But today's vlog is title is Be a Reconciler. And that's a funny word. I love the word. It means to line two things up side by side so that they match and work together. They're reconciled. We live in a world today where there's not much reconciliation. There's a lot of conflict. There are two or more sides or people constantly not getting along. They do not line up with each other as to how they think or how they behave toward each other. And I'm being vague, but every one of us experiences that in our personal life on a regular basis. In this world, might makes right. That's how you win. That's how you get people to agree with you. You force them to. You strive with them. Might makes right in this world, but in God's world, humility makes right. You have to think about that. You don't reconcile in God's world by being mighty. You do it by humility. God and man, because of sin, do not line up with each other in the way that they think or behave. God is righteous, man is sinful. And mankind, the sinner, never wants to fix the relationship. That is, they don't want to line up their thinking and behavior through humility with God. They'd like to kind of manipulate God. We call that religion, believe it or not. We'd like to force God. We'd like to earn his favor. That's not humility. But God comes to us and wants to line up, reconcile with us. Think about this. The sinner doesn't want to. The sinner just wants to fight. So we see a world full of fighting today. The righteous God humbles himself and comes to us as a man. That's Philippians chapter 2, verses 5 through 11. God came to us as a man. He humbled himself, became obedient, became a servant, even unto the death of the cross, to save, to reconcile people, to line them up. See, the word reconcile means to line two things up, or actually even to receive the other person with favor. It doesn't just mean a peace treaty where we don't talk to each other. It means to receive back into favor. Sinning man always sees God as an enemy, not as someone to receive into favor. When people are sinning, they see against you, they see you as the enemy. They don't see you as someone to receive into favor, as an object of favor. So instead of trusting man like an enemy, God, because he humbles himself, he comes to us and humbles himself, goes to the cross. He doesn't see us as an enemy. He sees us as an object of favor. In order to fix the relationship. 2 Corinthians 5:19 says that God was in Christ reconciling the world back onto himself, not charging them with their sin, but putting their sin to his account. Because sin always creates a debt. And God says, you don't owe the debt, I'll pay it. God paid the sinner's debt. And this is really deep theology. You ought to think about this a lot. 2 Corinthians 5:21 tells us that in this humility, this payment of the debt, it was so complete that Jesus Christ actually bankrupted himself to pay the debt. He became sin for us. And then he gave his righteousness, his perfect ability to have perfect relationship. He gave it to us so that we could have relationship with him. And in verse 18, Paul tells us the hardest thing for us as believers. He said that God has given believers the ministry of reconciliation. That is, we are to be people who make things right through humility. We are to fix relationships um, that are broken between God and man, between others and us. I mean, I can kind of be humble for God. I can be humble when someone offends God, maybe. I can be a lot humble when you offend somebody else. But I don't want to be humble when you offend me. Um, see, we are to forgive. That's humility. I need to say this. Like as Christ had to humble himself and own the offenses and debts of other people in order to fix the relationship, to reconcile them, so do you and I as believers have to humble ourselves as far as Christ did sometimes, all the way to the cross. I see Christians reacting to the world and being humble to a point, and then they fight back. And what they're doing is saying they're not willing to go to the cross for Jesus Christ for the world. See, we are to go to humble ourselves to the point of actually carrying the burdens of sinners to God, to Christ to carry. And how far do you go for that? And it will humble you even more than you think to do that. Christians are finding out in our world today that this world, the lost world, the unbelieving world, does not see us as friends. They do see us as an enemy. We are to be peacemakers anyways. We are to be reconcilers in God's behalf, just like Jesus Christ was in our behalf. Are you willing to be a reconciler, exercising humility, or are you trying to make the world change through might, through strife? My challenge to you today is that you go and pray about this and ask God, how humble am I? Thank you.